The Book of Love is 24 hours long. It's the second longest audiobook I've listened to this year, behind only East of Eden. So was this book worth a day of my life? Hi, I'm Amanda, and this is Spineless Books, your one-stop shop for all things audiobook. Now, The Book of Love by Kelly Link is her first novel, but she's no stranger to writing. She's written tons of short stories, and in fact, she's quite popular in the short story fan base. But this book, while you can feel her short story roots, is very, very different. It follows three high school students, Mo, Daniel, and Laura, who have just returned. Well, they've just returned from the dead. They've been missing for over a year, and they come back into their lives where suddenly no one has any idea they've been gone, although Susanna, Laura's sister, is suspicious that something weird is going on. Now, in order to get through this story, they have to solve the mystery of how and why they died, and they have to learn how to wield magic while they do that. The format of the book is very interesting, but not if you know that she's a short story writer by trade. It follows all of the characters individually. They each get sort of highlighted moments. Now, they appear often enough that I don't forget about them and I don't have to really wonder about them, but it keeps the book moving and it keeps it interesting. I never lost sight of anyone. The dialogue was extremely convincing, and each character had a unique perspective and voice. So while they're all in the same situation, they're dealing very, very differently. It does get a little angsty at times, like a little teen romancy, but it's okay. Oddly, when the book was over, I felt a little stoic. 24 hours with these characters, and I just sort of felt at the end like, oh. It didn't make the book bad. It didn't make the book disappointing. It just sort of ended. And I think while there were large climactic moments, I felt like it all made sense and was a very natural progression, even though this was magical realism and is not stuff that could happen in my world. It just sort of was like, yeah, that made sense as a conclusion, so now we're done. The pacing was excellent, and I think that's partly why it concluded so quickly for me. At no point did I feel like it got slow, and keep in mind this was 24 hours long. In fact, the first time that I checked to see how far into the book I had already listened to 6 hours of it. It didn't feel like that at all. It went by in an absolute blink. While I will credit the pacing of the book to Kelly Link, I think January Lavoie as a narrator definitely helped her out. She doesn't waste time when she reads a book. She's really strong, she's really solid, although I have to admit, I think it's kind of an odd choice that the narrator was female. That may come from the author's perspective because maybe in her head she's sort of the narrator character, but there were more male characters in this book than female, and usually when that happens, they'll choose a male narrator. Now, I'm not disappointed in January Lavoie in any way. She was great. But I just thought it was interesting because I reflected on it after I had finished and thought, maybe that would have been less work for a guy? Could the book have been shorter? Probably. But when I look back on it, I really can't think of anything that could be cut. I mean, it all made sense. It all fit. It all had a place. So, I don't know. I'm not saying it necessarily needed to be 24 hours long, but I think everything had its place. So as far as a recommendation is concerned, I have to tell you, I don't think this book is for everyone. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I gave it 4 stars. However, I feel like if you're someone who wants magical realism, you can find that in a way shorter format. So if you're not really wanting to invest in something this big, you probably shouldn't. Now, if you are someone who's got all the time in the world, is patient with books, and feels like they're happy to invest in a big, deep world, this is a one-off, but it has the weight of a couple of books. So maybe that's who this book is for, people who love magical realism and just want to deep dive in something. I do think it was a good book, but I feel like if you're someone who's a little impatient or maybe not as dedicated to magical realism, go find something a little bit shorter and you'll be happier. So have you read The Book of Love or any of Link's short stories? Let me know in the comments. I'd be curious which of her short stories are most meaningful to you, and if any of them feel similar in theme to this one. I don't know what she writes about, but if it's all magical realism like this, I'm in. But remember, You might love what I hate and hate what I love, so make your own opinion, but thanks for listening to mine. I hope you like and subscribe. See you next time.